Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome back to Live It Out Inc. Our Tuesday edition. Tonight is going to be another epic night on Living Out Inc. I have two amazing women that are going to join me tonight. Before we start, please subscribe. Our subscribers are moving up. Thank you guys. Click like and share. Everybody just hop on in. You can tell us hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Live It Out Inc. Tonight is going to be about elevation, healing, and I have two amazing women that are going to help us tonight. You know, we're all about our mental wellness, and we're not gonna waste any time because I am so excited to hear what they have to say. We have Miss Monique Bedford, who is a life/elevation coach, and we have Dr. Nina Carter, who is a therapist. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Hi. Welcome to Live It Out Inc. Thank you guys again for being part of our podcast and helping us bring the word out about mental health. And we're just going to have a casual conversation, girl talk. You guys give us some gems, and we're just going to let it flow. So how you guys feeling tonight?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
And ready.
Yes. Yes. So before we get started, I want you guys to just tell me a little bit about yourselves and what started you on your journey. And Miss Monique, you can go first, and then Dr. Carter, you can come right behind her.
Sure. So my name is Monique Bedford, and I have about 16 years in the field as a licensed mental health counselor. I started in case management. Funny story is I sent out maybe 60 to 70 applications and wasn't able to get in as a therapist. So my foundation is case management, which is good because I feel as a therapist, you need to know how to help your clients. So resources is needed. But I've done everything from outpatient therapy to substance use counseling, to domestic violence counseling and awareness. You name it, I've done it. I've worked in crisis centers. So that has been my experience, and I love doing it. I transitioned to doing coaching. I love therapy, but I wanted to try my hand in coaching. So I have founded Higher Elevation Coach, and I also have a nonprofit called Praying Women Get Results as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, what about you, Dr. Carter?
Yes, I cannot hear Miss Beckford, so I'm not quite sure what she says, but I saw her talking, so thank you for letting me know it was my turn. My name is Dr. Carter, Nina Carter, and I am a licensed professional counselor. And I've been in this field for a little bit over 10 years. Started off in case management and then kind of worked my way all the way up to therapy. I always give credit to my dad, who is a pastor of 49 years this week, actually. And I always saw him serve. And I knew that I wanted to mimic that, but not necessarily in the church. And so I think just over time, I developed the love for people, seeing his sacrifice, and found my way in counseling, found my way in therapy. And so I thoroughly enjoy what I do. I thoroughly enjoy working with other people and seeing the transformations that take place when they apply the skills and the tools. And I just I love doing what I do. I'm also an author of two books, Extraordinary Parent, and Here I Am, which is a reflection journal for the soon-to-be wife. So just excited to be here.
Yes, I love it. You ladies are busy. Yes. So my the first question I have is what does being mentally healthy actually looks like for a woman and not just surviving, but like really thriving, like to be really mentally healthy.
Do you want me to
Either one.
go?
That's fine. Yeah.
So what I think I would say is knowing who you are, right? That is a huge part of being mentally healthy, is embracing and knowing exactly who you are, as a human being, as an individual, as a woman, and being confident in that. I think a lot of times our journey takes us different places, unexpected places, and sometimes it can kind of knock our confidence off, or it can knock some things out of the way that we thought would be there. And I think if we hold on to certain expectations of who we were, and not necessarily who we are, it could affect our mental health. So I would say just encouraging women to understand who they are and be confident in that.
Okay, Miss Monique.
I think being mentally healthy is different for every person. And I'll
Right.
say, for instance, someone who has struggled with depression 7 days a week, for them, mentally healthy may be, it's not 7 days anymore. It's only 3 days that I'm struggling with these thoughts, or it's only 2 days now. So sometimes we look at things like it has to be, everything has to be perfect, but I don't see it that way. If
Right.
it's a gradual progress of you becoming healthy, then you're thriving. For instance, another thing too is you may be struggling with imposter syndrome. You may be struggling with not feeling like your voice is heard. So being able to overcome some of those challenges, setting boundaries, that is showing that you are becoming mentally healthy. We're always becoming, right? Sometimes we haven't, I feel like we haven't arrived yet. We're always becoming, we're always changing because God is still molding and shaping us.
Right.
So yeah, so mentally healthy and thriving, it really depends upon that person and the progress that they have made and that they're continuing to make. Yeah.
So it's like you continually to evolve. And Dr. Carter, you said something about knowing who you are. And I struggle with that question with some women because women knew who they were, but they didn't know who they were outside of not being needed, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. You know how I know I'm a mom, I know I'm a wife, I know that I'm a therapist or a teacher or whatever my career is. I know I do these certain type of things. But if you take those things away from me that's not needed, then who am I when it's just me?
Mm.
Mhm.
So that was a big question for a lot of women. I was just having a conversation, some girl talk, and I was like, "So who are you outside of that when people don't need you?" Because we, the strong woman syndrome, the S on our chest, we take care of everybody. But what happens when don't nobody need us?
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. So
And
yeah. I mean,
I think that's the part of knowing yourself, right? Like that has to be external of everything that you have going on. Like knowing who you are as an individual, without a title, without a responsibility. What does that look like? Who am I, genuinely to myself first, right? A lot
right,
of times we are always projecting who we are to other people, our titles, what we do, but who am I to myself? Because am I kind to myself? Am I genuine to myself? Am I considerate to
Mhm.
myself? Because I can be all those things to everybody else, but if I'm not first those things to myself, I'm going to eventually find a problem. I'm going to eventually find something, that knocks me off my kilter. And I don't want to do that. And so you got to know who you are. Got to know who
right.
you are.
Okay, so we're all on this search to find it. I know I struggled with that for some years. I'm
That,
almost there. I'm
yeah.
not quite because I'm still evolving. Okay,
Mhm.
Miss Monique, what what are some mental battles women fight privately that nobody knows about?
There's quite a few. So not knowing, you hit it about not knowing who you are. I think that's a really scary battle because
Mm,
when you're around people, you're able to, they say, fake it till you make it. So you're able to hold it together, or you're able to look like the strong caregiver. But behind closed doors, that pain, that sorrow, that suffering, those things that you've been through as a child, that trauma, it shows up. So who am I behind closed doors? I believe that's a struggle for many women. The fact I said it about the caregiving. You have a lot of people right now going through caregiver burden, not
yeah,
knowing who they are after becoming a caregiver to your mom or to your dad. So grieving who you were before that and grieving who you are now. Watching a loved one go through those stages. And I can say that because I've watched my mom do that with my grandparents both passed. So I know that that is a battle that many people face, women and men, and it's a struggle. It takes a while to heal from that. Battling depression, anxiety, sexual pornography, sexual things that are going on that you're ashamed of, that you don't know how to seek help because it's become an addiction. Addiction in
Right.
itself,
Yeah.
those are, to me, those are really big struggles that need to be voiced, that need to be aired, and need acceptance,
Right.
right? Not like, oh, let's point the finger, you're doing horrible things, but no, I'm here. Let's talk together. I accept what's going on, and how can I help you through this?
So that's what we was talking about backstage, like being that safe place for people to kind of open up and really share with us some of the things they're going through without feeling judged. Dr. Carter, you want to add anything?
I did not hear what she said, so if you could just do a brief recap of what she was saying, that I would love to know where she
Okay.
was coming from. Maybe add
What
to
we
it.
was talking about, what do women suffer with privately, and she was like dealing with depression and anxiety, the childhood traumas,
Hmm.
um the sexual preferences, pornography, just a lot of things that we suppress as women that we're afraid to talk about openly. And that's a lot of things, that not only being the caregiver, like being a caregiver, having to take care of a loved one, a family member, and losing who you were before that, before you start doing the caregiving, and grieving that person because you're not that person anymore. So
Hmm.
now you're this whole different person. You got a whole nother different lifestyle, responsibility, accountability, and all of this. And then when you come in, now I can speak from that because coming out of that, when I had to care for my mom and when she transitioned, it was like I really didn't know what to do with myself after that, because I put everything I had into caring for my mom. So
Hmm.
after the transition, and when it was just going back home trying to live life, I was at a loss, like for a long time, didn't know what to do. So
That's good. That's so true. I think I would add the comparison. I think a lot of women, we deal with comparison. I think social media has a standard of what a woman should look like, and what she should wear, and how she should present herself. And I think we have so many things to compare ourselves to that we sometimes get lost in that. We get lost in, our image and what we look like. And some people, get lost in that, and they hyperfixate on it. And then there's people who feel so lost from like what they really want to represent. They don't know how they want to represent themselves. So it looks maybe inconsistent or unstable. But I would say that comparison is one of the things that I see a lot, in women, young women, and in older women. We don't tend to, how do I say this? We don't tend to validate each other enough,
right, right,
right?
right.
And it really just, it adds to that, the monotony of comparing yourself. Like, when's the last time you told a woman, like, girl, you look gorgeous today, like that is an absolutely stunning outfit? Like, we're sometimes so stuck in our own world, comparing with our insecurities, that we're not validating others, and in return them validating us because of where we are.
And I don't think AI makes it any better, because now you can look like what you want to look like. AI has gotten it to where you can look exactly what you feel like you look like in your mind. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for people, because it's giving you a false identification. Even in the music, even in I saw one AI thing where if you put two pictures beside each other, you can have a picture of your loved deceased one, then a picture of you, and AI will put it together and show you running up heaven gates hugging that person. And I was like, they just doing the most on here. And people change their face, they shape of their body. And I was like, wow, I wonder, is this affecting people like internally when they do this? Because it's to the point that that's who they show who they are. And then when you
Mhm.
go back and when you see a real picture of them, you be like, wow, okay, I hope you're okay back there. But all right, we're gonna keep moving. So, Dr. Carter, this one's gonna be to you, and I'm gonna let you go first since you can't hear Monique.
Okay.
How much of our mindset is shaped by what happened to us versus what we believe about ourselves? And that could be like the childhood trauma, something we've experienced years ago, something that happened to us, even domestic violence, anything that happened to us, shape our mindset on how we see ourselves now.
That is a loaded question. Great question, but definitely a loaded one. Studies show that within the first 5 years of a child's life, that they basically their personality is developed, right? Who their personality, their characteristics are developed, and a lot of times you'll hear, um, people who study, parenting and advocate for parenting, like, just be careful what happens to your child, how you discipline them, how you show up for them in those first 5 years. Not that they don't continue to develop, because the human brain doesn't fully develop to the age of 25. So there's still years left, but what happens in those first 5 years is core for a child. And I think it's a combination. Our perception is our reality. That's what I tell my patients all the time. How I view the world is my reality. Now, how you view the world is yours. Doesn't mean that that's actually what's happening. And a
Right.
lot of times we get caught in how life looked for us as a child, as an adolescent, as a teenager, as a young adult, and we get stuck, right, in believing that these things are true because they were a part of our environment and our life experiences. And a lot of times when we do this, we cloud our vision to the reality of what is actually happening. And we also take away from the possibility of anything else happening. Right. And so
Right.
I say that there is a combination of what you've experienced in your life and your current perception, which can always change. That's why people go to therapy, right? To challenge their perception, to challenge their narrative that they're telling themselves, to challenge the cycles that they've kind of created based off of life experiences. How do I get out of this? Feeling stuck, or feeling like, I'm not enough, or whatever the baseline issue may be. So they both matter, but I would say the experiences that you have in your life become core memories, right? And they are a part of like your brain chemistry. And so it kind of develops from there on your perception of what is happening in the world, right? So if I was abused as a child physically, I may feel like everybody is against me, right? Or I may have a sense of not feeling safe when I go certain places. Now, it was out of my control as a child to experience that abuse, right? But as I've grown and I've evolved, I'm continue to hold on to that childlike viewpoint because I have not challenged it any further. So I believe that, like I said, they're both very important, but I believe the life experiences just cultivate how your perception is developed from that point on.
Okay. Miss Monique, you want to add to it?
If you could repeat the question just so I can have
Okay.
some clarity on it.
How much of our mindset is shaped by what happened to us versus what we believe about ourselves?
Thank you. Okay. So I will say, as a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
A lot of times things that have happened to us, yes, do shape some of what we do or how we respond. But also it comes from a mindset too. If I was a rejected, okay, I went to school, I was bullied, I was rejected. That's not necessarily the mindset, it's the experience that began to shape that mindset, where now you go around individuals and you feel like, oh, I'm going to be rejected, so I no longer use my voice. I remember coaching someone who, every time she would go through a cycle where individuals would take advantage of her, and we had to begin to talk, where did that start from? Where did that arise? It went back to childhood. It went back to the experiences with her parents and how they wouldn't allow her to use her voice. And
Right.
because of that, when she was in relationships, she wasn't using her voice either. She would be taken advantage of. So that began to shape the way she operated. And of course, that shaped her mindset. So I will say, experience that we've gone through have shaped us. And I'm big on the voice, because if
Right.
you lose your voice, right? If you lose your ability to speak up and say what's on your heart, or say your truth, or, have influence to help or to do whatever it is God put on your heart to do, then in essence, you're losing a little bit of your purpose too.
Right. Right. So it's very important that we have our voice. It's very important
Very,
that we have our voice.
very.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about healing and breaking strongholds. So Dr. Carter, um, to you, what is a stronghold and how does it show up in a woman's everyday life?
Mm. Are we talking? Can we talk about the spiritual aspect of a
Uh,
stronghold?
I mean, that's where I be with it.
So
Yeah, I know
I
a little bit about those spiritual strongholds. So that's
I think
fine.
yes, ma'am. I think that spiritual stronghold manifest themselves in the natural. I think that they develop to maybe what we see in the natural, but strongholds can um, develop over time, or they can be if I can talk tonight, a generational passed down stronghold. For
Okay.
example, you can look at a family, and everyone in that family has had, there's all single mothers, right? So the grandmother was a single mother, her daughter was a single mother, her daughter was a single, and I'm a single mom, so just just saying that. And you can look and say, okay, that's a stronghold, right? That's a generational stronghold. Not necessarily has been cultivated in that family, but it's just something that has that family, right? And so when I
Right.
of a stronghold think of a stronghold, I think of something that has me, that's something that is not a positive thing, that has me bound, it has me um by the collar, right? And I'm trying to get away and I can't. And so, we are in this world, but we're not of the world. And so I believe,
Right.
there's everything that has a spiritual aspect to it. And I think a lot of times we don't always tap into the spiritual aspect. And so we think that if we just deal with the natural side of it, that it's going to go away, that's going to resolve from doing the natural things, but it takes the natural and the spiritual. So when I think of a stronghold, I think of something that is bound, it has me bound. And how do I get myself released? What do I personally need to do? Because that may look different for you than it does for me. Like, and
Right.
tapping into the spiritual side of it and understanding what is it that I need to do to get myself loose, to get myself rid of whatever this thing is. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Okay.
So I would say, to add to that, and that was amazing, first and foremost, that explanation. But to add to that, one of my fondest memories is working as a substance use counselor. And the reason is because I saw a lot of different strongholds with the woman that I had the opportunity to counsel. One of which, you could tell sometimes where they were like, I want to leave. I want to leave. I'm going to go. And I'm like, but what's going on right now? Mentally, what's going on? I can't do this. I can't. But what's going on right now? Tell me, break it down. I don't feel like I can do this anymore. Okay. How many times have you tried to do this? 25 times. Okay. And this is the 26th time, right? Yes, this is the 26th time. All right. You made it 25 times before and you're still here. You made it through almost dying. They had to resuscitate you 16 times and you're still here.
Right.
So let's work through it, because the alcohol, the drugs is a stronghold for
Mm-hmm.
that person. And many times I would say, hey, if they were open to it, of course, because I was in a secular, can I pray with you in this moment? Yes, Miss Monique, you could pray with me. Okay. Father, in the name of Jesus, I come against whatever's attacking my client's mind right now. And I pray, Father, you give her peace. And you could visibly see the peace
Yeah.
of God come upon that individual, because the alcohol and drugs was tugging them back,
Yeah.
because it had become a stronghold in their life. And it's not just alcohol and drugs. For many people, it could be shopping is your
Right.
stronghold, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Food. I like to eat. I'm trying to lose this weight, but I like to
Right.
eat. So I have to watch that, right? Anything that becomes, I would say, to the point where it's tugging on you, it's become a chain around your neck. That's a stronghold. And for some, therapy, of course, works, but therapy and Jesus worked a lot
Work
with the
better.
ladies
A
and with the
lot better.
clients that I
Yes.
see.
Yes.
They're
I
both a
agree.
strategy.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. Dr. Carter, we touched a little bit on this, but how do childhood wounds show up in adult relationships? Now
Mm,
we keep coming back to this childhood stuff for
mm.
whatever reason. That's what's keep coming up. So those wounds that we suffer from as a child, how do they show up in adult relationships?
Oh, that's another loaded question. But I first want to say I feel left out of this girl
I
conversation.
know, I know. I'm
I'm
so
like,
sorry.
I'm just like, oh, that sounds good. Like I'm trying to read her lips.
Oh, you make
But
sure you go back and watch it, because yes,
yes, I will. It's gonna show up. Like it has no choice but to show up, right?
right,
Um, it's just inevitable. What we hold on to, it's going to show up in our lives, whether we want it to or not. It's just how things are. And so when we think about childhood traumas, because it's such a core memory, I deal with a lot of patients whose memories are suppressed, right?
hmm,
But once they become unlocked through therapy and through, their self healing journey, they begin to say, oh, that's why I do that. Oh, that's why I allowed that to happen, right? Because what we have been taught and what we have experienced as a child helps us develop and narrate relationships from that point on. So if I'm a person, to be transparent, I growing up a PK, right?
preach kid. Me
Yes,
too.
that is that is one of the most difficult things that you can grow up under. I think it's even worse than probably growing up a celebrity.
Right,
Celebrity's child, because it's just there's so many narratives, there's so many unfair biases, there's so many expectations that you didn't even ask for, right, that you have to live through because other people put them on you. And
right,
so even just using that narrative of living through someone else's expectations, how does that show up in a relationship as an adult? Well, what I do is I've learned most of the time to validate who I am through someone else's expectations. So if they have unreasonable expectations for me, I'm always trying to jump that rope. I'm always trying to meet that mark when it's literally impossible because I'm so used to narrating myself based off how someone else sees me. So I think it's just so many examples that we can use, but as we get older and we build these relationships with other people, friendships, platonic romantic relationships, whatever it may be labeled as, how we view our childhood is going to impact how we handle the people in our lives, right?
right.
It's inevitable. I wish I could like pull it and just like have a sheet so that you could actually see it, but to have to explain it, it's just there. It just really is just there, and we have to do our best as human beings to address the things that we didn't feel were fair, we didn't feel were right, we didn't feel were just, we didn't feel like we experienced. We have to address those things in order for us to be our best selves in any relationship that we get into. So I would say that it's 100% impacts how you deal with people as you get older in any relationship.
Okay.
So I would say the person that goes into a relationship and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna already be on a defense because I've been through situations where someone has hurt me, so I'm gonna be the one to hurt first, or I'm gonna
Right,
be the one to end this relationship first because I don't want to be hurt. But going back into that person's life, they were hurt very badly and they've never healed from that trauma or from that pain of their childhood of being hurt. So they came into the relationship or relationships that they have with a defense mechanism, a protective factor, right? A shield.
right,
so that they don't become the person that is hurt over and over again. So, a lot of what we have developed or learned in our childhood, it can be or will be reflected as an adult. And I think sometimes I think of adults as just unhealed children. Like,
Hmm.
we really didn't have a manual to become an
Right.
adult. We just had to do it, right? So some of us are still living as that 15-year-old hurt girl or 15-year-old hurt boy, the person that never was able to see their father come and pick them up. They stood there at the window for years upon years, believing he's going to come today. He's going to see my accomplishments. And that hurt person, that little boy, goes into a relationship and feels like everyone's going to abandon him or her. And that's
Wow.
what they're bringing to the table,
Right.
right?
And it's like it's almost normal. Like it's if everybody is suffering from some type of childhood trauma or some type of trauma that has not been addressed, and I don't think that people feel safe. I just don't feel like people feel safe enough to say how they're feeling or to say what even what they've gone through. Yeah, the people that are in therapy, they do have an outlet. At least they have some kind of outlet to start the conversation. But we got a lot of people walking around here that has not dealt with their childhood trauma or any trauma for that matter. And it's like the world is just it's like what do we do, because we're a dying world, we're hurting. I see a lot of hurt people that hide behind their jobs, they hide behind money, they hide behind friends, they hide behind this facade that they put up every day. But when they get by themselves, when they're quiet, because sometimes the quiet can be so loud. When you're by yourself, that quiet can be so loud. It comes out and people are suffering in silence. People are
Yeah.
really out here suffering in silence because they don't have that space to let go. And a lot of that is because, again, and this is why we do live it out, to let you know that it is places out there, it is people out there that can hear you, that don't have nothing to gain by you talking to them or opening up to them, like therapists that look like you, therapists that sound like you, therapists that believe what you believe, therapists that you can relate to, the life coaches. These people are here, but then the world need access to them. They need to know that it is somebody out there, and this is how I get to them people to help myself heal. And I say that because I meet a lot of people just at the gas station. I'm the person that never meets a stranger. They at the gas station. I meet them in the store. I mean, anywhere I go, even in my job, when I see these parents coming in all day, I can just act. I may say, "Oh," I said, "Are you okay today?" And they might just start crying, and I have to get up and say, "Hey, come on, let's take a minute." And it shows me that it's a world out here, and I don't know what their spirituality is, but I know something needs to be done. Something needs to be done, and we are the people that's on the forefront because we can see it. I always listen to the subliminal messages, even when people talking. I listen to the subliminal messages, even when they ratting and raving and screaming and hollering. When they finish, I always go back and say, "Now I heard you say," and I point out the pain that I hear, and then it starts another conversation.
Mm.
Mhm.
Are you
So
a therapist too?
I am not.
You have some therapeutic skills though. That's really
And
good.
it's just one of my coworkers. She's a therapist now, but she used to give me the business. She stays on me like she's my personal therapist when I don't even ask for a therapist. Um, and again, that strong woman that try to help everybody. And this is my next question. I hadn't even got to that one. But who heals the healer? Like you guys. Who heals you
Good
guys?
question.
Because you take on a lot. You
Yes.
open your mindset, you open your ears, and you hear a lot. And I'm quite sure you guys have heard some traumatizing, horrific things that have come out. So who heals you?
Mm.
Mm.
And you go first, Miss Dr. Carter.
Uh, I think, a doctor has a doctor, right?
Right.
Um, Doctor gets sick like everybody else. They can't work a miracle on themselves. So I think, I definitely advocate for therapy, but I participated in it as well. I'm not a person that does it and can't participate in it. So I really do believe in living what I preach, right? And so I think that's part of the process is who heals the healer. First of all, we have to be aware that we need healing too, right? We can't be absent-minded to that. We can't think that, we let these magic like flow from our hands and people are no, that does not work. We have traumas, we have disappointments, we have challenges, we have things just like everybody else. Now, are we able to maybe process it on a different level?
Right.
Probably, right? But it doesn't mean that it still doesn't, hurt, it doesn't sting, or it doesn't allow us to feel like defeated at times. So I would say, every healer needs a healer, right? And the list, it just goes up from there. But I advocate for therapy and I am in therapy.
Right.
So, I think it's just important and then we have to understand the balance of this, right? And I hear us say strong all the time. We're strong women, right? I challenge us when we say, do I really want to be strong?
Somebody
Because
just said that.
so strong to me, if I give an analogy of strength, that is somebody who's gone in the gym and trained, somebody that can pick up 400 pounds on a barbell, right? They've trained for that. If you take me to a gym and say, be strong, go pick that up, I'm gonna probably look at you like you're something wrong with you, right?
Right.
Because I don't need strength to have common sense,
Right.
Mhm.
right? I may need some resiliency because I may feel knocked down sometimes, but the strength, I don't want to go pick up 400 pounds that I haven't prepared for. And that's what we have to do. We have to balance out, what am I carrying that I haven't prepared myself for? What am I trying to take on that is too much for me? And as a healer and as a therapist and as a coach and as, the person, the be all do all person, I have really found out that you have to have boundaries. You got to say no sometimes, and you have to know what to take on. When I first got in this field, and this, I'll end it with this, I told myself, because I was a case manager before, so I did a lot of social work, and I felt myself taking on other people's issues and problems. And I said, now if I go into therapy, I'm not gonna be able to do this because the rate of the people that I see on a daily basis, when you're seeing 7 and 8 and 9 people a day, you can't take all that on
Right. That's a
because
lot.
you're gonna something gonna be wrong with you after a while. So
Right.
what I told myself is I do not take anything with me out of this office. I don't take it. It's not mine. When those people walk out of the door, I am out of control. I'm out of having any of control. I technically didn't have control when they walked in, but I cannot control what decisions that they make. I can
Right.
only give them the knowledge, give them the skills, give them the tools. And if they use it or not, that's not my responsibility. That's theirs.
Right.
So I think
Absolutely.
understanding the balance of this is going to be super helpful as well.
Okay.
Amen. I
Yes.
love this question, honestly, because it's so many therapists and so many coaches, they don't seek therapy. They don't seek another coach to talk about things that are happening. And that's why you end up seeing some of them just leave the
Mhm.
therapeutic field altogether and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to just completely switch. But for me, who heals the healer? I have gone into therapy at various points in my life because of certain things going on. And I'm an advocate for going into therapy. How can I tell clients to come and see me and yet I'm not getting the help I need when I
Right.
need it, right? Also, I have a very strong support group, a very strong village of people. Let me start with my mom, who has told me this concept, and it was, when you leave your office, back then it was an office, you're going to dust your feet off, mentally. And that is saying that you're not going to take anything, that went on at that office home with you. Turn on music on your way home, put on scripture if you need to. So by the
Right.
time you get home, the things that you were carrying before, you've left it there. And I began to practice that because when I first started out, the cases were very heavy. I was in my 20s carrying like really heavy cases. And I was like, I don't know. I'm feeling like my chest is tight, all this trauma, things going on with kids. And My mom's like, listen, what are you doing? You need to take care of yourself. Here's a strategy. So my mom is one person that has helped me, and of course the village of other therapists that I can say, hey, this is what's going on with me. I need your feedback. I
Right.
need you to just listen. I don't even want you to say nothing. Can you just listen to me? Let me vent. I have that. I'm blessed to have that. And then
Yes.
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes I go to the beach. That's my therapy. I go and get a manicure and pedicure. I take care of myself. I believe in self care. I get a massage. These things also help to heal because I'm pouring back into my cup. I refuse to let my cup run dry, giving to other people. I've learned the hard way. So these are the things that have really helped me and continue to help me. Am I perfect with it? No.
Right.
But I'm getting there day by day. I'm getting better.
And at least you have a strategy. At least you have a strategy to know that, hey, I'm not carrying this with me. I'm not gonna carry this with me. Um, that was hard for me to do because I used to carry everybody's stuff. Like my plate would be so full with stuff that had really nothing to do with me.
Mm.
Um, and I had to learn how to scrape this off. That's a no, I can't do this for you, but this is what I can do. You don't dictate what I can do for you. Now you could take this little help or you don't. So I started by doing that. I didn't even get no. I wasn't even at no yet. I was at okay. Because my thing was if I can't make a way, if I can't do it right now, give me a minute. I'm gonna figure it out for you. I'm still taking it on. I'm still taking it on. I haven't said no, I can't do it. Instead of saying no, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to help you. I was like, okay, give me an hour or two, or give me 2 days, and I'm gonna try to figure it out. I'm gonna help you out. So that I'm just carrying it. I'm just plate just piled up, and stress. It physically take a. I mean, you can physically feel the weight on you. And I don't know if people really tune into themselves like that, but when people put so much on you, you can really physically start to feel that stuff. So I started peeling off a little bit, peeling off a little bit. Then I got so depleted to it was like, I have nothing else to give. I stopped answering the phone. Didn't want to answer the phone, scared they were going to ask me for $20. So I just didn't pick the phone up. I was just like, I started avoiding people. Then I had to start getting the courage to just say, no, I can't do it. And stop trying. I was showing up at everything. I was showing. And one day I was going to a wedding, a baby shower, a birthday party, another event because I couldn't say no. I was RSVPing everybody, but I was killing myself trying to make everybody else people pleasing. That's what it was, people pleasing. And I had realized that does not work for me. Um,
Mhm.
but look, y'all, I'm venting to y'all. I'm having my own conversation.
No, you're venting, but that's a great point though. The people pleasing. I think a
Yeah,
lot of us struggle, especially in the helping profession, because we always want to give, or if we just have that type of heart, we always want to give to other people. But you said it, but what is the cost? It's costing me my own sanity, my own
right.
peace. It's stress upon my body. At what cost? That's a good point.
Yeah, so I advise people learn how to say no. No is a very powerful word. No is a very powerful word. Okay, Dr. Carter, we're gonna talk about the healing mindset. So what does no. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. We did the strongholds. Okay, here we go. We're gonna talk about the life coach part. So this more Monique from therapist to life coach. What made you switch?
What made me switch? I needed to, because I'm in school for my doctorate, and I
Okay.
needed to do something that wasn't, yeah, thank you, that wasn't as stressful. I love therapy, but it's a longer term, sometimes 6 months to a year or even beyond with clients. And I wanted to do more short term help with
Okay.
clients, spiritual, mental to a certain extent. I can't,
Right.
there's certain things I'm not going to touch with coaching versus doing as a therapist. So, but you know what, honestly, let me go back. I did a spiritual retreat in St. Thomas in 2025, and I was in the airplane, and God said higher elevation. And I'm like, higher elevation. Okay, God. So I got the little Spirit, oh, sorry, Spirit, but the little Spirit Airlines paper and I wrote higher elevation.
Yeah.
And then God said, coach. And he put the date. I put the date on that, the time, everything. He said, that's your business. Because I had been asking him for so long, God, what do you want me to do? Should I do therapy? Should I do coaching? What business? Because I know you want me to do one. And it
Right.
came 2025 above the skies. Funny
Right.
enough, higher elevation in the
Right.
sky,
Look,
right?
make it make look.
Yeah.
That is
So
so
definitely.
awesome. God would, baby, He will show up anywhere. He will show
Yes.
up and make it make sense. You are
Yes.
you elevated in the sky. That's your business right there, and
Yes.
it just come to you. God, that's how He moves. God will move in a minute. But we want to talk about you guys being authors too. Um, and I did this, Dr. Carter, because she's in school to get her doctorates. That's why you see me do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about you guys being authors because you both have books. I am yet to finish mine. What part of your own story did you have to heal before you could write about it? And I don't know. I know. Yeah, and Dr. Carter, yeah, we're gonna let you go first. So, what part of your story did you have to heal from before you could just even start writing it down on paper?
Mm. I would say, healing. I had to come to the conclusion that I wasn't as far as I thought I was.
Oh, okay. Self
That
evaluation.
Yeah, that healing is a process. And it doesn't happen overnight. Matter of fact, once you start it, it don't end. They don't tell you that part. That's the part that they don't tell you, like, oh, get on the healing journey. And you're like, yeah, jump on the bandwagon. And then you jump on and the train never stops. It's always something that is going to help you be better, right? And I mean, yes, that's the point, but I think sometimes you can feel defeated in that because you're like, well, when do I get to the point where I feel like I'm done, like I'm healed? I think there are things that you heal from, life events that you can heal from, but the healing journey, I think, is always something that's ever evolving because as life goes on, you grow and you experience new things. And so then there's other things that come that help you just really learn yourself. So I would say that I was healing and I realized, how do I help other people? I got to be transparent, right? I have to show up
Right.
as my authentic self in order to let people know you don't have to be perfect to do this. You don't have to have it all together to write a book. You can write from where you are and still impact the people that your name is called to, that your voice is called to. And I think for me, it I think perfection was so important that I idolized it till I realized that it was what was holding me back.
Oh,
Mm.
wow. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, can I give from this place? Yes, I can give from this place, and the people who are called to me will be called to me. That doesn't change. And so I
Absolutely.
think just through that experience, I really learned like, okay, you're healing. So if you wait until you are healed to do something, you may never do it.
Right. Because
You may never
it's
do it.
ongoing. And what people have to understand about healing is that it gets ugly. Healing is
Ooh.
ugly. Healing
Mm.
gets really, really ugly. I tell them, baby, it's gonna get ugly before it get better. So be prepared.
And you're gonna lose some people. That's what's
Yes,
gonna
you're gonna
happen.
lose some people
You're
on
gonna
the
lose some
way.
people that you didn't think that you were gonna lose, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna
Yeah,
be ugly and it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be so
absolutely.
worth it.
It's gonna be
Mhm.
so worth it.
So worth
Okay,
it.
Miss Monique, what
So,
what's some things you had to heal from before you started writing?
well, I've always had a rough draft of my book, and I had ended a 2.5 year relationship. Um, and God was like, you need to finish this book. I've given you years. You need to finish the book. So I was like, okay. But I'm like, God, I'm getting ready to go into the next semester. It's like, I don't care what you got to do. Sit
Right.
down and finish this book. So I took a month before classes started. And I was writing this book, going through pain, right? My own pain of ending that relationship. But God was giving me words that was healing me,
Hmm.
loving myself again, hearing my voice again, knowing what I will tolerate and won't tolerate. And the funny thing is, it wasn't just that relationship that I began to see that I needed to change. It was many relationships.
Right now.
So the book really, it came out of pain and purpose, but and the title is Bloom Anyway, Even When It Hurts. So
Yeah.
yeah, it came out of pain and purpose, but I know it also is used to help other people, but it before it even helped you guys or those that have purchased, it has helped me because
Yeah.
I was healing going through it. Am I
Right.
still healing? Yes. Am I where I was back then when I was writing the book? No. I have gone through a lot of work, but um and God has brought me through a lot of work. But
Hmm. I
yeah.
don't know how people out here making it without the Lord.
I ask myself that every day.
I
'Cause-
be like, Lord, hey, you all I got. I don't know nothing else. I done tried everything else out here. This all you all I got. Lord, it's me and you.
Amen.
Yes.
So, Dr. Carter, tell us where they can get your book from. How
Yes,
can they get a copy of your book?
yes, so you can always reach out to me via social media. I am at the real Nina Marie on Instagram, TikTok. I'm Dr. Nina Speaks, and you can also purchase it on Amazon. So the Extraordinary Parent, 30-day survival guide for single parents. It's like a journal. And the other book is Here I Am. It is a reflection of the soon-to-be wife. Once again, sort of like a journal, a reflection tool for women who are looking to get married. You don't have to have a spouse. You don't have to actually be engaged, but there's a section that is for the single woman in preparing for her husband. And then there's also a part of it where once you do find your mate, you can go in and have questions that the both of you can answer, and kind of just getting to know each other and asking some of the questions, the hard questions, the finances, the love
Hmm.
languages, the, all
Hmm.
of the things that we don't always talk about when we're in a relationship because we're in the honeymoon stage. So just using
Right.
it as a tool to really reflect for yourself first and then use it as a tool for building the relationship.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, Monique, how do we get your book?
So I am on Instagram at Rise, Rise, with HEC. So Instagram as well as TikTok and YouTube. But you can reach out to me. You can also get the book on Amazon. It is on version as well as a hard copy and a paperback as well.
You said
And
the audio version? You have the audio version of your
not
book?
yet, not
Not
yet, but I'm getting there. I don't think I'm going to use my own voice, but one
Oh,
day
okay.
I will have an audio version of it.
Okay. Okay. So before we go, I want to do this little rapid fire thing. And this go for you guys in the chat too. So when you hear the rapid fire, just type in your response, your question. Um, so I'm gonna give you two words and you just pick one. This for both of y'all. You can answer at the same time because it's not a whole, a whole lot you have to say. So you guys ready?
Ready.
So
Yes,
would you
ma'am.
take healing or hiding?
Healing.
Healing.
Healing, okay. Boundaries or people pleasing? That's what we talked about.
Boundaries.
Boundaries.
Boundaries, definitely boundaries. Peace or approval?
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, please. Okay. Fear or faith?
Faith.
Faith.
Faith. Faith over fear. Faith over fear. Comfort or growth?
Growth.
Growth.
Yeah, girl.
And people get comfortable, so we can talk about that a little bit. When people get comfortable, they stop. They kind of get stagnated. I'm comfortable here, so this feels good to me, and they're afraid to grow from that. So, how do a person comes out? How do they come out of that?
You have to recognize that you're comfortable because you may be so comfortable at a job that you don't see it as I don't want to move up. I'm good here. I make, you know, 60,000 a year and I'm comfortable with this. And someone else comes along and they're like, but you have this degree, you could do so much more. And that begins to say, oh, jog your mind like, you know what? Maybe I can do more. So I think first you have to recognize that you're comfortable and then identify ways to move into growth, which
To
is
grow.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that's something I struggle with because what I do, I love what I do, but I need to grow. I have a whole total different mindset on what I want to do, and I just that's that faith over fear. I gotta not be afraid to step out on faith and move on. Y'all pray for your girl. Pray
We
for your
will.
girl over here. Forgiveness or closure?
Closure.
Closure. Okay. Um, at this
Forgiveness.
point, you forgiveness. Oh, okay. So we got a different answer. We got closure for you and forgiveness for Dr. Carter. Why you chose forgiveness over closure? And we know that we're supposed to forgive sevenfolds. We know what the good words say. We know what the Lord told us about forgiving people. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. So why did
Mhm.
you choose forgiveness?
Forgiveness is in my control. Closure is not. I
Oh,
cannot guarantee that I will get the closure that I'm looking for if when it involves another person.
okay. Okay. So, Monique, why did you choose closure over forgiveness?
Well, some people are very dangerous. For instance, if you're in an abusive situation, you're going to have to choose closure for that person, no
Right.
contact for that person. So that came to mind. There's certain situations where you're going to have to, yes, you forgive. I forgive you, but I can't allow you back in my life. So
Absolutely.
you're going to have to choose
Absolutely.
closure. So that's why I said closure.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, same thing. I can forgive you, but you need to stay that way. We don't
Yes,
need to have no conversation. I don't have no bad feelings for you, no bad blood, but I don't need you in my space. I don't need you around me. I don't even need to see you. I love you from a
absolutely.
distance. I love you in the name of Jesus. Go about your business. So
That
I
part.
definitely I
Yes.
get that. Okay. So who, Dr. Carter, who are you becoming? Who are you
Ooh.
becoming now? That's for you guys in the chat too. Who are you becoming?
The best version of myself that aligns with who God has destined me to be.
Okay. Monique.
Who am I becoming? I'm becoming a woman completely sold out to God, which means that I am not here for public opinion, whether it is something that goes against the grain or not. I have to do what God says. So I'm a woman who is choosing to stand up 100% for God, 10 toes down, and a
Right.
woman who's choosing to bloom anyway, even when it
Right.
hurts.
Bloom
Like,
anyway. Right.
push,
Oh, the
baby,
rose.
push through everything, even when it's hurting.
Yes, the rose that grew from concrete. Or I've been
Yes.
through some stuff. Yes, I'm gonna bloom anyway. I got you. All right. So what are you releasing, Dr. Carter? At this point, just like in life, what are you releasing? For me, people, gone. Just go.
Uh, yeah, I would say that in the expectation or the version of the people in my life that I wanted them to be and not accepting them for who they actually are. So
Oh,
releasing those versions that I wanted to hold on to and the expectations that I have for people that don't align with them, whether positive or negative. Letting people be
right.
who they are.
And I think we have to accept people for who they are, respect who they are, and deal with them accordingly. We don't have to
Hmm.
deal with their mess. I don't have to accept that this is just who I am. This is just how I am. Okay, be like that, but be like that again over there. Because I,
Hmm.
me, my better version of me, don't have to deal with you in that.
Right.
So yeah, people.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go, Mr. Monique.
No, preach. It's okay. Releasing, always showing up for everyone and feeling guilty, right? Because sometimes they guilt you like, oh, but you didn't show up. You didn't. I'm releasing that. I can only do what I
Yes,
can do. And if I can't do it, so be it. And if you're
right.
upset at it, so be it. I love you. And and if I need to release you because you're getting mad because I can't show up for every single thing that you do, maybe it's time for us to go our separate
To go
ways
our
and
separate ways.
not feel
Absolutely.
guilty about it, you know?
Right. Right. That's good. I like that. What are you protecting, Dr. Carter? For me, I gotta protect my peace. I gotta protect my peace.
Mm-hmm. Um, I want to protect who I'm becoming.
Amen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
I like that.
Mhm. I'm guarding my heart in this season because I'm a giver, and givers, we overgive sometimes, and that causes us to get hurt. So I'm guarding my heart and I'm guarding access. Not everybody deserves access to you.
That
So
should
I'm
be a quote.
limiting. Mm, yes,
That should be
ma'am.
a quote. Not
Mhm.
everybody deserves access to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. What are we believing? What are we believing in this time?
Mm.
Mm. You want my transparent, honest answer?
Yes. Yes.
I'm believing for my divine partner. I'm believing
Hey,
for my
Hey, that's
godly
what
spouse.
Hey, come on now. We're gonna touch and agree. We're gonna touch and agree. Where there are two or three gathered in my name, that will I be in the midst. It's
Yes,
gonna happen.
amen.
yes, ma'am.
I'm believing
That's
in
all
it
I gotta say.
too. Amen. I'll be honest and transparent too. I'm believing in my handsome husband to come forward, man of
I,
God, to come forward.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
That should
also
be. Go ahead.
funding for my nonprofit because there's things that God has put on my heart. I really want to help, a lot of the children in Africa and different parts of the world. So I'm believing in funding and I put it before God.
Yes, absolutely. Lay it at the cross. Lay it at the
Mhm.
cross. What are we no longer tolerating?
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
Me, excuses. I'm
Mm.
not tolerating excuses from nobody. If you got to give me excuse, I mean, we gonna. That's where we are. We're gonna stop right here.
Mm.
And
I'm not.
lies.
Yeah,
Whew.
I'm not tolerating that part. Right. That's a whole conversation by itself. Um, I'm not tolerating people who want to keep me in the old version of me, who want to
Mm.
keep me stuck in the version that suits them and not who I
Yes.
am.
Yes.
Well, they say if you wanted to, you would. I'm no longer tolerating people who don't show up for me. And that doesn't mean that I'm like Xing them out. I just know the box to put them in. So
Okay.
if I know you're not going to show up for me, I may not even say, hey, this is what I'm doing because I know you're not going to show up.
But you know
You
what?
know?
I'm there. That's what she said. She's not tolerating people that don't show up for her. Why would I keep
Ooh.
inviting you when I know you ain't showed up in 3 years?
Right.
What am I keep
Mhm.
inviting you for? And then don't get mad when I don't invite you. Oh, I
Yes.
didn't get
Right.
the invite. Really? I wonder why.
It was lost in the mail.
Last one. What's your next elevation? Oh, somebody said they're believing more in myself and constant complaining.
Mm.
Mm.
I agree. I agree with that too. Um, what's your next elevation?
Mm. Well, finishing
Mm.
this doctorate, I will defend the dissertation next year. So that's an elevation for me. And also, I'm just seeing where God leads because I have a few individuals that I'm mentoring and helping along the way. So I'm just seeing where God leads in this season. But that is an elevation. Both
That
of
is
them
an
for
elevation.
me
Yes.
is an elevation.
Yes. What about you, Dr. Carter?
I'll go career in educational. I want to pursue to be a MP for mental health. Um, and that's the next thing that I'm going to work on because I really want to be able to help medicate appropriately and manage medications for my patients. I think that's just such a core part of the process, and it would just make sense as next steps.
Next up, I like it. I like it. Um, I want to thank you guys again. This has been fun. I thought it was gonna be girls. I thought we were just gonna be talking girl talk.
One more
Uh,
thing. One more
Yeah.
thing before you release them, we got to take one question
Okay.
from the audience, and we can end. But I won't hear the end of it if I don't put one question in there. Okay, can you see it to read it to them?
Yeah. My love sense of context, much
It says, "I'm in therapy now, and a lot of times I either find myself talking too much or stuck with nothing to say. You recommend any focus points?"
Mm. How often is she attending therapy? Would probably be my first question.
Ooh, I think, was it once a week?
I think it's once a month. I think it's just once a month.
Oh.
Uh,
So focus, if I can answer first, the focus point I would say is if it's just once a month, when you enter into therapy, what is okay? So sometimes we focus on the crisis of the week, and that's not where you really want to focus in therapy. You want to focus on the meat and potatoes. So, for instance, I want to focus on some trauma triggers. I want to focus on the fact that I'm in every job, I always give too much, right? So that might be something before you even get into therapy, you write down, you begin to say, okay, um, last month we focused on talking about stress. This month, I want to focus on how to deal with the stress. So having that plan ahead of time, that may help you to where you don't feel stuck or have anything to say. And sometimes it's okay not to have anything to say because you may need that silence to kind of, go over some of the things that was already said. But I don't know what the silence is like in your therapy session, but I'm okay with silence with my clients. Sometimes they just need a process.
Okay.
Dr. Carter, did you want to add anything?
I did not hear what she said, but I would just encourage this individual to, if you feel like you don't have anything to say, just go in with an open mindset, right? Um, and you can always tell your provider, like I really didn't have a lot to come to session with today. Is there anything you recommend that we start off with? Or do you have any, based off of our sessions, what are some focal points that you feel like I can we can work on today, like use the provider, use the therapist as a focus point, right? That's the person that's been listening, right? That's been present for you during these sessions. Use pull on them a little bit when you don't feel like you
Right.
have much to talk about, because as a provider, if I'm listening and I'm present in these sessions, we always have something to work on. We always have something that we can do better. So I would just encourage them to come in with the open mind and don't feel responsible for having to have something to talk about. A good provider will be able to navigate a session even when you don't have anything to talk about.
Right.
It's good. All right, so that was the only question so far, but you can go ahead and close out, Mom.
All right. Ladies, this was good. Thank you so much. Throw your L's up for Live It Out. That's what I L mean, Live It Out Inc. Monique, you are in Florida, right? And
Yes.
Dr. Carter, where are you?
Georgia.
Oh, okay. So you're here with us. Thank you guys again. Definitely following you. Definitely gonna support the books. You guys keep being amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting the word out. That nonprofit organization is gonna bloom and blossom. Congratulations on your doctorate. I can't
Yes.
wait. I'm gonna keep up with you. Dr. Carter, your knight in shining armor is coming.
Thank you.
In the name of Jesus, he's coming.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
think question number one should be, baby, do you know God?
Listen, pray. I'm gonna do like I was at a service one time, and the apostle, he said, the first thing you need to ask him, but pray. Do you know how to pray? Well, pray right now. Let
Pray
me see
right
you
now.
pray.
Let's pray.
I need to hear you pray. I need to
Yeah.
hear you pray. So that's
Because if
gonna be
you
my question. Right.
yeah.
You're not the one.
You can bless the food. And if you come with God is great and God is good, baby, I'm gonna holler at you. You go on. Again, thank you, ladies. You were amazing. And I
Thank
will
you.
see you guys soon on your page. Thank you again.
Yes. Thank
All right, guys.
you.
See you next week.